Well, hey everybody, Old Iron Will here again. I just down in my newly constructed going up in September, my 30 by 60 storage shed that I've planned on moving a lot of my engines and stuff into. I got a few in, as you can see in the background here. I'll maybe take you around on a short tour and show you some of the stuff that I have in here. I got a couple of, like I mentioned in one of my previous videos, and I got 3 storage containers as well. And so got engines scattered about, but right now I thought that this is some of the little bigger engines, and some of the ones that I feel like showing off to you guys today a little bit maybe. So anyways, it's winter time here in Saskatchewan. I'm sure you can see my breath a little bit. So it's November here, just early November now. We've had our second shot of snow. We had one middle of October there, about October 14th, but it melted. We got a little bit here again here the last couple of days. So this snow will probably, it's supposed to get above zero again or above melting next week. But probably, we have enough snow now, it's not all going to disappear. So right now, I think temperature is about -4 up here, -4 Celsius. I think it's about -15 for my American friends. Got down to -15 Celsius. I'm not sure off the top of my head what that is down in the States, but I'll maybe put that down here in the comments and stuff like that as to what the temperature is. So anyways, I thought I'd give you a little tour here, show you what I've got, show you what's in here. Maybe, some of the things I'm thinking about sharing, some of the stories and some of the acquisitions on these engines here. That might be a bit of a series that I start, but I thought first things first, I just show you what I got in here. There's maybe, I haven't counted, probably about 30 plus engines in here right now. So with that, I think we'll get started. Well, guys, I think I'll start down in this corner, maybe show you a few of the things that are, this is the southeast or southwest corner of my storage unit here. So I'm going to start off with some of the belt driven equipment that I have, and I got some other stuff scattered around, like I say before, in containers and other units and stuff like that. But here we got a belt driven sharpening stone. So I'm a big believer, when I load up something on a show trailer, that I like to have something being driven by a belt, right? So often you hear, well, what did these things actually do? So it's always nice to have something on the trailer being driven by a belt, and just giving people an idea of what these old engines used to do. Here's a little bit of a unique piece. Yeah, they are out there, but it's a Manns green bone cutter. So, I've displayed it lots over the years, and unfortunately it's missing it was a belt driven one, but it also would have had a flywheel, a crank handle on it, but that portion of it is gone. But still a nice piece to demonstrate. And I've never cut bones with it, but I have done some shredded bark and stuff like that in the past, and it'll chew that right up. So kind of nice, very, very unique. And I think when people hear the words green bone cutter, they're not sure what it's about. So kind of gets them to ask some questions and stuff like that. So here we have a Gould Shapley Muir grain grinder, a beaver grinder, they used to call them. So again, somebody's repurposed an old B&A oil or a grease tin on the top of it there to replace the hopper. It's the way I picked it up. I picked that engine up I picked up this grinder here. I'm going to say it's probably about 5 years ago now, 4 or 5 years ago. So displayed it lots. It's got lots of monkey motion on it and stuff. So next unit I have here is this Baker pump jack and Trey Hearn well pump. Again, it's one of the first display pieces I ever picked or rigged up. So it's got a Baker well spout on it as well. It does pump water, recirculates it, pumps it up. So again, another item that really grabbed a lot of attention over the years. And beside it, I've got a John Deere pump jack with a Dominion pump on it. So, and again, you can probably see in the back here, I have a John Deere engine that I usually rig it up with. And the John Deere engine is mounted on a reproduction cart that come from Mitch Malcolm when he was selling those items. So all, great, looks like an original cart, very well done. And then I have my Empire engine here, 1.5 horse. It was built for the Cockshut Plow Company. It is a running engine. I have robbed a mag right now for another engine, and I'm always seem to be short on those Webster M magnetos. So that's one I've borrowed for a different engine this year and that. But again, on an original cart. So again, you don't find a lot of Cockshut tagged engines out in this area. Even though it was a Canadian company, they seem to be more down east a lot. So that's one that I did up a number of years ago, probably I'm going to guess maybe 2012 or something like that. I redid that engine up. And then I have a 1.5 horse economy, again on an original cart. This is an engine that I redid. Needed 2 engines to get 1 complete engine. It's a battery and coil engine. Runs very nice. I got some videos of it on the YouTube channel. So one that I picked up actually both engines one of my trips down to the Le Sueur swap meet. So next I have here is a 6 horsepower Fairbanks H. I picked this engine up a number of years ago. I have gotten it tore apart, was stuck bad, got everything loosened up. Right now the head is in my workshop waiting to be worked on this winter and stuff like that. Hopefully I need to put new valve guides in and all that stuff, make new valves for it. It's an engine I picked up just east of Calgary, Alberta. I was out there for business. You know, I loaded it up in the back of my half-ton and hauled it home. The truck sure steered easy on the way home with that much weight in the back of the truck box. But anyways, it's going to be a nice engine. They're a nice size engine. You know, I'm not really quite sure why Fairbanks engines aren't more desired. I think, you know, with that early design and, you know, there's a bit of monkey motion and some stuff working on both sides. So anyways, I got another Fairbanks H here. A little different design on the water hopper. This one I picked up at an auction a couple of years ago down by Caravel, Saskatchewan. I was told it was came out of one of the old original elevators at Caravel. Not sure exactly what it did, but I bought it from the son that got it from the elevator, so I kind of believe that's where it came out of. So whether it was running a leg or some other function in the elevator, I'm not quite sure. Those early elevators weren't very, very big, but that's another one, again, another future project. It's not, the valves are stuck, but actually the piston and everything's loose on it. So, but again, it's sat outside for a large number of years. So, and then I have another Fairbanks H, a 4 horsepower. This is an engine that I picked up down at Le Sueur, at the Le Sueur swap meet there one year. You know, hauled it back. So on an electric wheel cart, runs pretty good. It needs the intake valve guide done on it. It's pretty sloppy and it's on my one of my to-do lists, right? So, but just haven't quite gotten there yet. But again, nice running engine. I think you can probably see and tell it's getting a little bit colder. You can see some frost building up on that engine there. So, you know, they're going to be having a long winter nap now. So here we have a 3 horsepower Waterloo Boy Type H engine built by John Deere. So that was an old engine collecting friend. I got that one from after he passed away. His wife, he kept a few engines after he had his big sale, and she got hold of me and wanted me to have the engines and stuff like that. I'll maybe share the whole story on it one other day. It's a little bit longer than just a few seconds can tell, but it was kind of honored to be able to, that she thought of me and he wanted me to have these engines and stuff like that. So another one, not, you know, I don't really call any of my engines rare, but it's not as common as you see out there. Again, a 5.5 horsepower Manitoba. I'm told it's styled after a John Lawson engine. Again, you know, it was loose when I got it, but, you know, I had to do a little work on it and had to do some work on the mixer and tighten some things up. And actually, it runs pretty good. Runs nice and slow. Runs nice and quiet. It's a very quiet running engine. So I guess probably the unique thing with this one, it's got the 2 pulleys on it, right? It's got a smaller diameter and a larger diameter pulley on both sides. So again, good running engine. And like I say, it's building up some frost on it. Here's an engine that I will share a story on down the road. It's a 7 horsepower Waterloo Boy. I didn't know what it was when I seen the pictures of it at the auction sale. It was badly seized. Probably one of my first harder restorations that I really did. And, you know, it's probably the first bigger engine. I know a lot of you guys have bigger engines than even this, but for what I was working with for equipment and stuff like that, it was a pretty big engine to work on. And it's a throttle governed engine. It's a Type K. It'll chug away just nice. It'll just chug away nice and steady beat all day. It's a good running engine considering what it was like when I first picked it up. So here we have a 5 horsepower Galloway. It's a round rod. You know, I've had it running. It was, again, an engine that needed some work. It came from the Bob Porth sale. It's on an original cart. The cart didn't come with it. My dad picked that cart up a number of years ago at a sale near Brandon, the Doug Pig sale, if you guys remember that one. That's where he picked that engine or that cart up, and the engine came from Bob Porth a number of years later. So we've had it running. It's got a little bit of a funny clunk in the linkage there, so I got to figure out what's banging when it's running. Runs pretty good. So had a bad frost crack on the bottom of the hopper, but overall good looking engine, I think. So, and another one. This one's very uncommon in my neck of the woods. A 6 horsepower Foose Junior. Again, this one came up at an auction sale a few years ago. Seized bad. I'll probably share the whole story on it, but it took all winter to get this one loosened up, freed up, going, and working out little wrinkles here and there on it. It's got a kind of a unique pulley they put on this side. It's a flywheel off of something, so they've made a belt pulley on this side and they have the larger one on the other side. But it's all tuned up, runs excellent. This engine now, I've shown it quite a few times on the trailer. So here's, I guess, the picture of the other side of the pulley and stuff like that. So original tank. Fuel tank on it. Again, this is the first engine that I tried to lock and stitch on at the bottom of the water hopper. It did have a freeze crack in it. You can't even tell it was ever cracked now. It turned out excellent. So here's an engine. It is my dad's engine. It's a 2.5 horsepower Titan. I think we picked this one up. If I remember the community, it was near Wembley, Alberta. So at a sale a number of years ago, I think it was Wembley. It's up in that neck of the woods anyways, that Grand Prairie, White Court country, somewhere up around in there. So on an original cart, it's got the rotary mag that mounts behind hopper, which I don't know if you see that too often. So it's kind of it's a good running engine, again, but it could use the valve guides done on it and run even better. So this is the way it was painted when we got it, with the blue flywheels, so it is what it is that way. But, I don't know if it's worth trying to strip paint off or redo any of that. It does have a clutch pulley on it, so that's nice. We don't have a lot of engines here with clutch pulleys. My 7 horsepower Waterloo boy has one. Got a couple other engines that have clutch pulleys, but so good engine. And then we have my 2 horsepower Famous, my nemesis. This thing has been driving me nuts. I've been having a heck of a time getting it going. I'm going to have to belt it up probably to a tractor or something like that. It's got so much ring drag on it, and I just, you can't hardly crank it over by hand, and it's definitely in the rings, because when everything else is out of there, it turns over nice and smooth, and it was a complete basket case of an engine, probably one that should have never been done. But they're not, you don't come across them that often up here in northern Saskatchewan. So I did, I have done a lot of work on it, spent a lot of money on it, but I'm going to have to really work on it here this summer here, and see if we can get her fired up and running good. So I haven't had it running yet. I've had it pop off a couple times trying to turn it over by hand, but it's just so hard to turn over that, I think I'm going to belt it up to our little Case R tractor and either break it in or maybe even try and start it that way. So we'll see how that happens here in the spring. So stay tuned. My 3 horsepower Fairbanks ZA plug oscillator model. This is an engine that I bought from the same fellow that had the 3 horsepower Waterloo Type H that I just showed you there a little while ago. He had a few of these engines. He had probably about 70 engines, I'm going to guess. He was a big believer in painting everything and all that type of stuff. This was one that he had. It was all painted up and everything, but he could never get it running right. And I did buy it from him. Actually, it was converted to a spark plug when I got it. I did find a plug oscillator set up for it, and did have the crank guard. I do have a pulley for it. It's just up in the container right now. But we did get it running. The big problem I had when I initially got it going, I couldn't keep a head gasket in it, so it took a little work to get that sealed up properly. But again, it was probably one of my first engine, not my first, but it's probably in my first 5 or 6 engines that I ever did restore and work on, and probably paid too much for it initially, but it did lead to a pretty good friendship till my friend passed away there a number of years ago now. So and here's one that I did restored before the Fairbanks. It's my 3 horsepower Stover KB. There's a write-up in Gas Engine Magazine about it. Again, I bought it. I can't remember the community, but it was in Manitoba. I was living in Whitewood at the time, Whitewood, Saskatchewan, which was, maybe 40 minutes from the Manitoba border. It was all apart when I bought it, right? And I got it home, everything was there. It's probably one of the, I think it was probably the 3rd engine I really worked on and got going. Has the original magneto, everything like that, original crank guard on it. It is a good running engine. Hits hard though. It hits hard, so definitely got lots of power in it, and when she fires off. And yeah, it's been a good engine. So, you know, a little unique with the disc hole flywheels when you start getting into the little bigger ones, these little bigger Stovers. So here I have this 5 horsepower Witty. I think I pronounced that right. I always used to call it Wit, but I think somebody corrected me one time and said the actual proper pronunciation is Witty. So this one I know a little bit of history, just not a lot. I don't know exactly what it did. I think it was for some sort of a backup power or something like that. But it came out of the mine up at Flin Flon, Manitoba. So I'm thinking that's why it was probably painted red, you know, because that definitely looks like it was the original paint, or that paint has been on there for a long time. Crank guard is something that I did have kicking around. I already had it on hand. I don't know how I ended up with that even, but it was the proper crank guard, believe it or not. So again, it's not stuck, but it definitely hasn't. I've never had it running yet. So again, I got lots of future projects, no shortage of work ahead of me. So next I have a 3 horsepower Stover W, throttle governed engine, has all the preheater, everything like that, has a bit of, you know, some unique. There's lots of uniqueness on this side, lots of moving stuff, lots of gizmos, lots of monkey action, lots of everything on this side, right? So it looks very complicated when you get down at the front for an engine of this vintage, right? So it runs so-so. I think it's got a lot of wear in the cylinder and stuff like that. So there's someday you need to kind of keep on a lookout for another cylinder, or maybe if a guy breaks down, maybe it should be bored out and have a cylinder pressed in it, right? So have a sleeve put in it. I mean, so here's a 3 horsepower John Deere. You know, nothing uncommon, obviously. It's again, it's another engine I might share a little story about. I picked it up in a little 1.5 Novo upright on an online auction, but then I got sick. And anyways, I'll share the whole story of what happened and how I got him home and stuff like that, because it was a bit of a fiasco at that point in time. So. And then I have another Stover. This one's a hit and miss one. Stover W again, 3 horsepower. You know, so it'll be nice to maybe get this one up and going. It is stuck, laid out in the bush there somewhere for a long time. I do have a replacement mag bracket for it and stuff like that. So, but you know, they're a good running engine when you get them done upright. So, and I got a couple of 3 horsepower International M blocks. The parts for them are all up in a container right now. And then we got maybe I'll show you this one first. The 3 horsepower Fuller and Johnson. The mag have gone through it. The igniter's all been rebuilt on it. Needs to be worked on here one of these days. It's not stuck. Does need a rocker arm. The rocker arm was broke off and missing when I got it. Did come with a brass accurate magneto, so that was kind of initially why I wanted it, right? So again, you know, it's a throttle governed engine with all the preheater, all that stuff is all there. So whatever is in there is in the hopper right now. So, and then we got a Mogul here. Now this is I got a story again, but this is one that I'll maybe share. I picked up a group of engines with it one time, 2.5 horsepower. Couldn't remember if it was 2.25 or 2.5, these Moguls, but again, it was been converted to run on a spark plug, buzz coil, and a battery. Somewhere along the line, I need to find an igniter and a mag and everything for it, and a mag gear, and get it back. Like I say, I have had it running on the other way. You know, I think they're a good running engine. It's just this one probably needs a little attention to get her tuned in right. So, and when I picked up that one, I got this engine here. The pulley is something I picked off a flywheel, another parts engine, but this one didn't have the pulley on it when I got it. But 6 horsepower International M, again, kind of a unique story. I'll probably share that when I share the one on the Mogul, and how these engines kept trying to find me, and because I didn't get them initially, and then a number of years later, all of a sudden I got approached about them again. So, and then I have another 6 horsepower M here. This one has the clutch pulley on it. This one I picked up off the original farm. I have some original pictures of it back in the day. It was used up for sawing wood in the area. They used to pull it around on a sleigh. Had a buzz saw on it, and they'd saw wood up for the neighbors and stuff like that. So they made a little bit of extra money. So again, I've had it running just off the fuel bowl. Obviously needs new skids, needs a fuel tank built for it or purchased for it, one or the other. I might try and build one myself. You know, they're so expensive to get fuel tanks shipped up here to Canada. it's ridiculous between the shipping and the exchange and everything like that. So, but it does run. Head has been welded on it, which a lot of the engines up in this country have been because of the cold weather. So here we have a Case R. I believe it's a 1938, if I remember right. It is a running tractor. Drive it around a fair little bit here. We've had it for a few years now. Has the sunburst grill or sunrise grill. I've heard them called a few different things. On steel, so nice little original tractor. Runs excellent. So you know, that one was picked up at an auction sale. No exciting tale to tell about it, unfortunately, but other than it is a good little running little engine, or good running little tractor, and you know, nice size too, right? Easy to transport around if need be, and all that. So, and then I have my 10 horsepower Fairbanks. This engine, probably be one of the first ones I do my little engine tail on the recovery and you know, the restoration of it. As you can see, a lot of my engines I don't paint anymore. I'm not like keeping them original. This one I've put onto a steel wheel, steel axle running gear, just for ease of movement. It's a good running engine. Did not come out of an elevator, which I'll share in the story. It came off a location north of Shelbrook, Saskatchewan, close to just on the edge of the farmland and just near the forest. So, you know, I believe, I don't know for sure, I'm thinking it was probably used in some capacity with sawing wood and doing stuff like that, right? So, and then I have a bit of a rare one here. Again, I say I don't like using the term rare, or very uncommon anyways. It's a Canadian-built engine. It's a 9 horsepower Magnet made by the Petrie Manufacturing Company out of Hamilton, Ontario. It's close to running. I've kind of gone through it, got a few things to do up, a few things to button up. Magneto was sent in for a rebuild. It's actually, just chatted with the individual that rebuilt it for me. It's been put in the mail yesterday, so I should see it back anytime. Got a muffler, reproduction muffler. I guess got to finish machining it. It's got the clutch pulley on it. You know, I want to do a little bit. I got to oil up the timbers and stuff like that, make them look a little older yet. So just a few things to finish up. Got to rig up a fuel tank, and it'll be ready to test fire. But like I say, it's already winter time here, so that'll be probably a spring job now. That's why it's in under the cover. It's, you know, it's the last 2 engines there, the Fairbanks and this one, they've been tarped up outside for the last couple of years and stuff like that. So it's kind of nice to get them up under cover now, right? Out of the rain, out of the snow, out of the wind. So they're still going to get chilly in here, but it's going to be a lot better than what they've had to deal with the last number of years. So it's the Hart Par 1836 that's in the shed here. This is my dad's tractor. It's he picked it up at an auction sale a couple of years ago. Unfortunately, somebody's put a real crappy paint job on there, and I believe they've put on that aluminum rust paint to try to use it. I don't know if they painted it with that at one time or if they tried to use that as a primer, but it's really stuck on there, and the green paint's peeling off, and you know, it needs work on it yet. Fuel tank, the main fuel tank leaks on it. You know, we have pulled the lugs off on it. Dad didn't want to tear up my yard with it, so I have rebuilt the deck for him on it. So the platform was completely rotted away when we got it. You know, so we have had it running in the past just for a few minutes, right? When it was seized when we first got it, and you know, we poured a bunch of oil and diesel fuel and everything like that to try and loosen her up, and we're able to get it to turn over. And you know, so we did fire it up at that point in time. The oiler wasn't working then, but we've also had to rebuild the carburetor. So oiler has been rebuilt. Like I say, the deck on the floor has been rebuilt. You know, carbs have been all gone through. Just, you know, so hopefully in the spring, you know, we'll rig up the fuel tank, get it fixed up, or at least get the starting tank on the side there done up and fire it up. And we'll share a video of it later on of us firing up, because I'm sure the environmental people won't be too happy with all the smoke that we were shooting that day. But again, you know, we like those early old tractors. These are pretty primitive in their own way, right? So it's kind of what my dad and I are into, these older style tractors. You know, I love the prairie tractors, but I'll never be able to afford one of them with the price what they're going for. So anyways, that's a quick tour of the shed today. Thanks everybody, and watch. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel, and you know, helps the algorithm with old Facebook there, and YouTube and all those other ones, so get a little more attention to the stuff. And yeah, thanks everybody. Talk to you later.